There comes a moment in your life when the world throws its worst at you and watches to see how you'll react. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't give you time to prepare. It just hits, suddenly, silently, violently. A whisper behind your back, a door slammed in your face, a dream that collapses under the weight of reality. And in that moment, when your hands tremble and your spirit shakes, you are given a choice. Do you let it break you, or do you rise as if nothing ever touched you? That's the power. That's the mindset. To walk through fire and not smell like smoke. To smile through betrayal. To stay silent in the face of insult. To keep building when the storm rages loud enough to drown every ounce of peace within you. This is not about pretending. It's not about suppressing pain. It's about mastering your reaction. Because you can't always control what the world throws at you, but you can control how unshakable you become in response. Think of the greats. Abraham Lincoln buried 2 sons before he ever saw the White House. He lost more elections than most men dare to run in, and yet he stood tall, always, as if nothing could touch his soul. Because real power doesn't scream. It doesn't beg to be understood. It moves in silence. It builds in darkness. It speaks only when action fails. To act as if nothing bothers you is not arrogance. It is discipline. It is spiritual strength forged in the furnace of adversity. Because the moment you allow the opinions, chaos, or cruelty of the world to invade your center, you have already lost your throne. Your mind is your empire. Your focus is your currency. And every time you react in anger, in fear, in desperation, you make a withdrawal from your power. You want to be wealthy? Learn to stay calm under pressure. You want to be respected? Master your emotional state. You want peace? Build your inner world so complete that no external storm can rewrite the script of your soul. Every successful person you admire, every icon whose legacy still echoes through time, they all learn the same truth. The world rewards composure under pressure. The world bows to those who stay silent in chaos, yet take unstoppable action in silence. Thomas Edison was called a fool. Thousands of failed experiments mocked him, but he didn't flinch. He didn't throw a tantrum. He didn't quit. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's what it means to act as if nothing bothers you, to live from vision, not reaction. You think greatness is loud? You think success is about being the center of attention? No, it's about being the center of gravity when the world spins out of control. Because the enemy isn't the challenge, it's your response to the challenge. The enemy isn't the betrayal, it's the belief that you must respond to every dagger thrown your way. You don't. Let them talk, let them laugh, let them doubt, let them leave, let them misunderstand you. Let it all pass through you like wind through a mountain. The mountain doesn't move, it doesn't explain, it just remains, rooted, powerful, unbothered. You need to start moving through life like that, anchored, disciplined, unapologetically still in a world addicted to noise. Your strength is not in how loudly you shout, it's in how calmly you carry the storm. They will push you, they will provoke you, they will test the limits of your kindness, your patience, your tolerance, and every time you rise without rage, you win. Every time you choose restraint over reaction, you reclaim a piece of your power. Because the highest form of dominance is emotional self-control. Not because you're weak, but because you're too powerful to be pulled into petty battles. The lion doesn't flinch at the bark of a dog. The eagle doesn't look back when the crows scream. And you, if you truly knew your worth, you wouldn't either. So why do you get pulled in? Why does one comment on social media ruin your day? Why does one person's opinion shake your purpose? Why does one setback dismantle your confidence? Because somewhere deep down, you haven't yet owned who you really are. You haven't yet declared to yourself, "I am the master here." Not the world, not the chaos, me. When you truly own that, you'll walk into rooms with silent dominance. You'll speak less, but your presence will say everything. You'll stop chasing approval because your existence alone will radiate certainty. People will feel your energy and either rise to meet it or fall away. That's how you lead. That's how you win. That's how you transform, but you must make a decision right now to never again give small things the power to disturb your great purpose. Napoleon Hill wrote, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Read that again. Without your consent. You give your power away every time you react to something that doesn't matter. You hand over the keys to your emotional kingdom to people who have no business entering. So lock the gate, guard your energy like royalty, and when they try to get in, smile and carry on, as if nothing ever touched you. Because the truth is, that's when you become untouchable. Not when you scream, not when you fight back, but when you rise, rebuild, refocus, in absolute silence. Like steel beneath velvet, like thunder hidden in stillness, like a king who doesn't answer to peasants. That's who you are. That's who you must become. Not some puppet pulled by emotions, but a commander of self. And the battlefield is not outside, it's within. The moment you master that, you master everything. What the world sees as calm on the surface is the result of 1,000 internal battles won in silence. It's easy to explode. It's easy to snap, to argue, to demand to be understood. But easy is not the path of power. Easy is not the way of legacy. Legacy is built by those who learn to pause, to breathe through the fire, to sit with their anger until it loses its grip, and then act, not from emotion, but from clarity. Because when you act from emotion, you become a slave. When you act from vision, you become a leader. Do you know what made men like Andrew Carnegie unstoppable? It wasn't just strategy. It wasn't just capital or connections. It was his calm, cold-blooded focus. An ability to absorb pressure like steel, to move forward with ruthless serenity. While others panicked, he planned. While others reacted, he reasoned. He had trained himself to detach from emotion, not to feel less, but to channel more. To act as if nothing bothers you is not to become numb. It is to become razor sharp. Because when you are no longer distracted by noise, you start hearing the whisper of your own destiny. Most people can't hear it. They're too busy listening to the drama, too busy drowning in criticism, too busy rehearsing their pain instead of rewriting their future. But not you. You're here now because something inside you is awakening. Not just a desire to feel better, not just a wish to be calm, but a hunger to take back your power and protect it with every fiber of your being. You see, inner peace is not the absence of pressure. It is the presence of unbreakable perspective. When life throws weight on your shoulders and you square them anyway. When people betray you and you bless them silently and keep walking. When outcomes fail and you keep building the next block with discipline, not despair. That's how the strong rise. Not by waiting for life to be kind, but by becoming too focused, too grounded, too purpose-driven to ever be broken by things that don't matter. And you'll know you're growing when silence becomes your response to nonsense. When walking away feels more powerful than winning the argument. When you stop explaining your worth because your results do all the speaking. When your energy becomes so protected that no one can reach your peace unless you invite them. The world wants to pull you into every fire. It wants to make you chase every insult. It wants to drain you until you forget who you are. And the way you fight back is by not fighting at all. You rise, you smile, you focus, you build, you move. Like a general in battle who already knows the war's won. Because when you act unbothered, you send a message. I am not here to play small games. I am not here to trade jabs with people who aren't building anything. I am not here to bleed over things I've already healed from. I am here to grow. I am here to lead. I am here to become. And I refuse to let anything take me off that path. Not opinions, not setbacks, not even pain. Let them doubt you. Let them mock your stillness. Let them confuse your silence for weakness. Because when you show up calm, focused, grounded, they won't know what hit them. Not because you were loud, but because you were consistent, because you were undeniable. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. He was fired for it. Let that sink in. One of the most visionary minds in history was labeled uncreative by small thinkers. Did he lash out? Did he beg them to see his value? No, he created his own kingdom. Because visionaries don't react, they redirect. They don't argue with mediocrity. They build so boldly that the world has no choice but to believe. So act like it doesn't bother you. Not because you're ignoring the pain, but because you're focused on the blueprint. Not because you're above feeling, but because you've decided to lead your feelings instead of follow them. And you'll know the shift has happened when your mind starts asking different questions. Not, why are they doing this to me? But, how can I turn this into fuel? Not, why is this happening? But, what lesson is life trying to teach me here? Not, how do I get them to respect me? But how do I become so disciplined I no longer need their respect? The game changes when you change, not before. So don't wait for peace to arrive. Don't wait for the noise to stop. Don't wait for apologies, for fairness, for closure. Be the peace. Be the stillness. Be the immovable force in a world addicted to movement, and you'll watch as everything around you begins to shift, because life mirrors your energy. Chaos runs from certainty. Drama evaporates in the presence of calm, and doubt bows to the one who keeps building. You are that one. You were never meant to be pulled in every direction. You were never meant to react to every voice. You were meant to lead. You were meant to dominate your space in silence. You were meant to walk like a storm inside, but look like still water outside. Because the ones who act unbothered are often the most powerful people in the room. And here's the truth they don't teach you in school. Power doesn't knock. It doesn't introduce itself. It walks in quietly, sits down, and takes command. No shouting, no warning, just presence. That's the kind of presence you're building. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything, because it is something. You don't need loud clothes, loud opinions, or loud validation when you wear self-mastery like armor. You become like Henry Ford, who once stood before a courtroom of so-called experts, grilled with questions meant to humiliate him. They said he wasn't intelligent enough, that he lacked education. Ford smiled and said, "Why should I clutter my brain with facts when I have men around me who can supply any knowledge I require?" He didn't defend his intelligence. He didn't fight for approval. He stood in his power, unshaken, unbothered, because true kings don't entertain court jesters. And you're being called to that level now. You don't just survive the world's chaos, you rise above it, not through noise, but through stillness forged in fire. Because that's what acting unbothered really is. It's a language, a signal, a declaration to the universe. I will not betray my purpose just to respond to yours. I will not abandon my focus for temporary emotions. I will not let the world program me with urgency and drama. I have already chosen my frequency. You are not here to join the noise. You are here to move differently, to create systems, empires, legacies, while others chase validation like crumbs. Let them wonder why you don't react. Let them try to figure out how you keep showing up, how you keep evolving, how you keep winning in silence. Because every time you don't respond, you're planting seeds of discipline. You're investing in your peace. You're training your nervous system to obey you, not the world. That's a superpower few people ever touch. To be in control, not just of your schedule, but of your spirit. To walk into chaos with a heart that beats steady. To smile, not because everything is perfect, but because you've stopped letting imperfection dictate your energy. Listen, you're not here to chase every barking dog. You're here to walk the path lions walk. Eyes forward, feet planted, mind locked in. If something shakes your peace, it is beneath your purpose. You've got too much building to do, too much to become. And you can't afford to be pulled into emotional whirlpools created by people who haven't done their inner work. You were sent here to do something legendary, and legacies are not built in noise. They're built in silence. In the early mornings when no one's watching, in the late nights when you're tempted to quit, in the quiet decisions that no one applauds, but that define your future. That's where it happens. That's where strength is born. And that's why you must learn to act as if nothing bothers you. Because the moment you stop reacting to everything outside you, you start mastering everything inside you. And suddenly, you're dangerous. Not because you harm others, but because no one can harm you anymore. You've become untouchable, not from arrogance, but from alignment. You've decided that peace is your priority, that purpose is your compass, that discipline is your language, and that silence is your power. So walk on. Let the world buzz. Let the distractions dance. Let the noise beg for your attention. But you keep building. Keep showing up. Keep sharpening your edge. Because your energy is too expensive to spend on things that do not grow you. Your time is too precious to be spent defending what doesn't need defending, and your mission is too big to be interrupted by small minds. So from this moment forward, no more reacting, no more explaining, no more being pulled off course by things that do not matter. Act as if nothing bothers you, not because you don't care, but because you've chosen to care only about what truly matters. That's not weakness, that's warriorship. Because in a world addicted to reaction, the one who stays still becomes unstoppable. And when that moment comes, when life hits again, when someone you trusted turns their back, when the project fails, when the world pushes you to the edge and dares you to lose control, you won't, because you've trained for this, because you've walked through the fire before and learned how to carry it without letting it burn you. Because now your soul wears armor, not forged in comfort, but in discipline, in vision, in the quiet decision to never let the outside world command your inner world again. So you will stand. When others fall to gossip, you will stand. When others drown in anger, you will stand. When others crumble from pressure, you will stand, tall, silent, unshaken, like the mountain that watches centuries come and go, but never loses its place. Because now you know, strength isn't loud. Real power doesn't announce itself. It just shows up. It shows up in the man who doesn't break when his plans do. It shows up in the woman who keeps her poise while others panic. It shows up in the leader who carries grace under fire, in the builder who creates quietly, in the warrior who chooses peace, but never loses their edge. That's who you are becoming. That's who you've always been underneath the noise, the fear, the need to react. You were never meant to be ruled by the world's energy. You were meant to create it. So when life throws the unexpected, you breathe. When the comments come, you smile. When the weight feels unbearable, you square your shoulders and walk forward anyway. Not because it's easy, but because you've made a decision to rise every time, to stay calm every time, to protect your focus, to protect your frequency, like a sacred flame. And the world won't understand it. They'll wonder why you don't panic, why you don't chase, why you don't retaliate. Let them wonder, because while they're watching, you're rising. While they're doubting, you're building. While they're reacting, you're evolving. And in the end, the scoreboard doesn't remember who screamed the loudest. It remembers who showed up, who stayed focused, who kept building through the noise. So burn this into your spirit. You are not here to be shaken. You are here to shake the world, but not with noise, with presence. Act as if nothing bothers you, because your mind is locked on a higher mission. Act as if nothing bothers you, because you've already claimed your peace. Act as if nothing bothers you, because every second you waste reacting is a second stolen from the empire you're meant to build. And if you ever forget, just remember this: the eagle does not chase the storm. It rises above it, and from that height, the chaos becomes small, the noise becomes silence, and the vision becomes clear. Now rise and never let the world pull you back down. Walk like your destiny is watching, because it is, and it's waiting for you to become untouchable, unshaken, unbothered, unstoppable.